Hello everyone and welcome to the first video of 2022, and we'll start with a sketchbook tour. I still have a few outtakes to share with you from the end of last year, and I do have a few new ones from January so far, so I might as well start with a sketchbook tour. Many of these are studies for a recent project that I did and they're sketches of local orchids and other local plants and other species. And in 2022, I sort of started things very, very slowly with landscapes and a few tree studies. Somehow I've really come to like drawing trees without leaves. So I hope you enjoy this, and let's jump right in. So you already might know if you read my blog, you already know this page here on the right, where I studied a little bit of corvid behavior, nut gathering crows that were hopping around here in the trees and in the garden. And yeah, if you want to learn more about this, I think I didn't make a video at the time, but it's a blog post. So if you want, check out my blog. And here on the left, we have a river trout, and I rarely draw fish, but for this ongoing project that I mentioned, I needed to familiarize myself with a few local fish species. And I decided to draw this beautiful river trout as one of them. So there are a lot of plants that grow near or in rivers that I haven't had the chance to study closer until now, like this loosestrife, beautiful plant with these nice pink colored blossoms. And then there's water plantain, which I have yet to see in the wild. So these are all done from reference photos. Because I needed to illustrate them for the project with the information boards. And then we have another one. This is flowering rush, another beautiful plant that I have indeed seen last year in one place. And of course, when you're near rivers and lakes, then you have different species of dragonflies near the water. So these are just preliminary studies for the illustrations that I did later. And while I was working on the illustrations about orchids, I was introduced to many areas nearby that I want to scout out this year during the orchid bloom. I've already mentioned this. This is my sort of my big plan for this year. And so we have another study of lady's slipper, a schematic drawing of the fly orchid. And these are just a few of the orchids that can be found here. So I have more in the next sketchbook that's to follow. So I left the first page of the new sketchbook. It's still blank. I have to find something. Usually I start with small weather sketches, just like these small thumbnail studies of the weather. But somehow the weather in January so far has been so dark and drab, and I just couldn't bring myself to record it on the first page here, but I will get back to this. So even more orchids. Here's a more detailed study of the early purple orchid that we encountered in the last sketchbook. Then a blossom of the fragrant orchid, which is really a quite beautiful, well, they're all quite beautiful. And on the right, we have a full-sized white helleborine and differently colored species of the helleborine. And even more orchids that I hopefully will see for real this spring. It's a lady orchid, a heath spotted orchid, and a lesser butterfly orchid, and the creeping lady's tresses. And they all grow in different areas and habitats, but I decided to sketch them next to each other. And here we go all into the blossoms, so an entire page featuring different orchid blossoms. They were really fun to do. And here are some more of the Ophrys species, the different ones that grow around here. And then I went into my holiday break and I focused mainly on bird studies, as I often do. We had actually a sparrowhawk visiting the garden, and there are more birds of prey here recently, which I find interesting because it's in the middle of the city. And I frequently see red kites and sometimes a kestrel too. And then we have our usual garden birds like a jay and crows and wood pigeons. And then we have this one, which was a really interesting weather. There was white frost everywhere and everything, and it was quite the beautiful sight, really, quite the magical weather, so to speak. Then I have more tree studies. Somehow I like to sketch these trees without leaves in winter, which is really nice to figure out all of these little branches and the angles. And then this is a study of a small plant that I found on the cemetery wall, and there's actually lots to find there and a lot of different little plants that I hadn't encountered yet. So this is a really interesting place to look around for new species to find. Here's one of the kestrels, but we encountered him in the open landscape, so not in the city this time. And this landscape sketch turned out a little bit cartoonish, but I still like the colors and the overall sort of atmosphere. Then I have a page of studies with willows. I really like these massive willows with these sort of spiky heads, and I think they have this wonderful calligraphic quality. So I really like that. I really like to draw these. I really enjoy doing these tree studies lately, and all of these landscape pictures are done from my own photos. So I didn't do them on location. So it's really too cold for me right now to spend a lot of time outside. But I really enjoy scouting out these locations and then seeing what I can use later for my sketchbook. So here we have a quick landscape and then a bit more detailed landscape. And both with a little bit of colored pencil added on top. So you can see how this thin paper sort of buckled when I applied all of these watery layers of watercolor. But so this is 185 GSM paper. This is Arches hot pressed. So it's been a while since I had the time really for these kind of landscape sketches, and I do enjoy them. Really want to do more with them this year again. And yeah, I do enjoy the muted colors of winter, and I also really love to include trees in all shapes and sizes. And yeah, as for the colored pencil that you can see, just a little bit applied here and there. Lately I enjoy these colored pencils from Derwent. They're called Derwent Drawing. And they're really nice. They make these really nice muted soft colors, and they're also really soft to apply. And yeah, I mix them, I apply them over watercolor when it's dried, of course. And I really like working with them. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the sketchbook tour, and leave me a like or a comment and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want to support my work, then check out my blog. Subscribe to my newsletter or take one of my classes, because it's your support that makes these videos and projects possible. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!